Have you ever looked down at your feet at the end of the day, noticed your ankles looking puffier than usual, and shrugged it off as just another part of getting older? Many people over 65 experience that steady swelling around the ankles, especially as evening approaches. It's often dismissed as a harmless inconvenience or just water weight. But what if that persistent swelling is your body's way of whispering that there might be something more going on? Something linked to the hidden highways of your lymphatic system. So many of us focus on heart health, joint flexibility, or blood pressure, and for good reason. Yet there is another essential part of our physiology that often goes overlooked: the lymphatic system. Think of it as an intricate network of vessels that carry away toxins and help maintain fluid balance throughout the body. When these vessels face blockages, or even slight sluggishness, you may end up with fluid that doesn't drain effectively, leading to swelling, discomfort, and a nagging sense that something isn't quite right. If you've been experiencing unexplained swelling around your ankles or legs, tuning into your lymphatic health could be a game changer. Why does this matter so much for older adults? Because a lifetime of wear and tear on the body can make the lymphatic system more vulnerable to slowdowns. It's easy to feel discouraged and think that a bit of swelling is inevitable, but addressing these issues can unlock surprising benefits. Not only can proper lymphatic flow alleviate puffiness, but it also supports overall vitality, comfort, and mobility. When you feel stable on your feet and don't have to worry about that tight, achy sensation at the end of the day, your sense of security and independence grows. That's one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves and our families: being steady, being ready, and knowing we can still do the things we love with confidence. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore 5 essential strategies you can use to help keep your lymphatic system flowing freely. By the end, you'll have a toolbox of simple, accessible ideas, like gentle movement tips, ways to elevate your legs for better drainage, and self-massage techniques that can protect your body from fluid stagnation. You'll discover how certain dietary choices and comfortable lifestyle modifications can make a big difference in how your legs feel by the time you're ready to relax in the evening. I'll also share stories of people, just like you, who overcame the assumption that swelling is just part of aging and instead found relief and renewed comfort. I approach this topic from years of helping older adults explore holistic wellness options. While I'm not a doctor, I've seen firsthand how overlooked changes, small daily steps that respect your body's natural rhythms, can lead to dramatic improvements. It's incredible to witness someone regain their comfort and peace of mind simply by learning a few techniques to support their lymphatic flow. Of course, it's vital to involve your healthcare provider in any new routine, especially if you have underlying conditions, but there's plenty you can do at home to get started. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to reflect on how often you've just put up with swelling or other minor discomforts. Have you ever felt worried when you tried to slip on your shoes and they suddenly felt tight? If so, you're not alone, and addressing this proactively can offer you a sense of security and protection in your daily life. Let's take that first step together and see how transforming your approach to ankle swelling can bring greater confidence, ease, and overall wellness. Now let's talk about a few key points that might shift the way you look at ankle swelling forever. What you learn could not only soothe that discomfort, but also help your body become more resilient. By the time we've gone through all 5 strategies, you'll have the clarity and confidence to decide what feels most manageable for you. And who knows, maybe your story of improved comfort will be the next one that inspires others to rethink inevitable aging. Ready? Let's begin. First, consider letting go of the idea that evening ankle swelling is normal or unavoidable. We'll look at why so many seniors assume it's just part of life and how changing that belief can motivate real transformation. Next, we'll talk about gentle exercises that promote better lymphatic flow, activities that almost anyone can fit into their day. Then we'll discuss nutritional shifts that support natural detoxification, including simple foods that can help reduce fluid retention. After that, we'll explore some effective home techniques such as leg elevation and self-massage for immediate relief. Finally, we'll address the emotional and protective aspect of taking charge of your lymphatic health. By the end, I hope you'll feel encouraged to make small yet powerful adjustments that can protect you from discomfort and even lift your mood. Let's start by challenging one of the most common assumptions about swollen ankles, the notion that it's just another sign of old age. Many seniors feel resigned to joint aches, slower movement, and yes, swollen ankles by the day's end. But consider how this assumption can accidentally become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you can't do anything about it, you won't try. In fact, many of us have grown up with the message that our bodies must naturally break down as we age, leaving little room for hope or positive change. This mindset can keep us from discovering how our lymphatic system might actually be the missing link in reducing that swelling. Margaret, 72, was someone who always told her friends, "Swollen ankles just run in my family, so I live with it." She thought that taking a pill or two would be her only way to manage discomfort. Her doctor advised compression stockings, but she found them cumbersome and they didn't fully resolve her end-of-day swelling. So Margaret accepted what she believed to be a lifelong inconvenience, until she heard about the role the lymphatic system plays in fluid balance. That simple revelation changed her perspective. She began to see swelling not as a random curse of genetics, but as a signal that her body needed better support to move fluid where it should go. When you look at the science, it turns out that the lymphatic system is a vital part of your circulatory health. Unlike blood vessels, which rely on the pumping action of the heart, lymphatic vessels need gentle movement from muscles and joints to help transport lymph fluid. If you spend long hours sitting, or if you're not engaging in consistent, gentle activity, your lymph fluid can pool in the lower legs and ankles. This is especially true if there's even minor lymphatic blockage or sluggishness. For seniors, this can be compounded by reduced mobility or by spending more time in seated positions, whether by choice or due to medical conditions. The practical advice here is to reconsider that old assumption that swelling is inevitable. Instead, think of it as a sign that your body is nudging you to introduce mindful movement throughout your day. This could be as simple as taking a short walk down the hallway every hour, doing seated calf raises while watching television, or gently circling your ankles several times whenever you stand up from a chair. Each small action helps pump lymph fluid upward and out of your lower extremities, preventing that uncomfortable buildup. The physical benefit of this shift in perspective is often less swelling and more comfort by bedtime. Emotionally, it can bring a comforting sense of relief and empowerment. Rather than feeling resigned or helpless, you start to see your daily choices, like those little ankle rotations or calf stretches, as powerful tools for protecting your own well-being. That sense of being able to do something about it can make all the difference in how you feel about yourself and the aging process. There's a protective reassurance that comes from knowing you have a measure of control over something that used to feel uncontrollable. So if you've been telling yourself that swollen ankles after 65 are just part of the deal, I invite you to challenge that assumption. By taking small, consistent steps, you can encourage your lymphatic system to do its job more effectively, often without complicated interventions. Think of this as the first step, opening your mind to a new perspective. You're not stuck with swollen ankles simply because you've blown out birthday candles more than 65 times. You can start making changes today. Another widespread misconception is that the best strategy for swollen ankles is to avoid moving too much. It's understandable to think, if my feet and ankles are already puffy and achy, how will walking or exercising possibly help? In reality, gentle motion can be one of the most powerful ways to stimulate lymph flow and reduce swelling. The misconception that rest is always better can lead seniors down a path of reduced mobility, which only exacerbates the swelling problem. Take Tom, for example. He's 68 and loves puttering around his workshop. When his ankles started swelling a year ago, he began spending more time sitting because he feared that being on his feet would worsen the puffiness. At first it seemed logical. Less pressure on his legs, right? But after months of this, not only did Tom's ankles remain swollen by day's end, he also noticed his calves feeling weaker, and he struggled to climb the stairs without fatigue. It was a friend who suggested a tiny steps approach. Every 30 minutes, Tom would stand, do a minute or two of light stretching, then sit again. Within a few weeks, he realized his ankles were less puffy at night, and his leg muscles felt stronger. Why does gentle movement help? Because lymph relies on muscle contractions to propel fluid. When you flex and extend your ankles, or even just wiggle your toes, you're effectively massaging the lymphatic vessels, helping push fluid through the system. This doesn't have to be strenuous. In fact, overexertion can sometimes lead to other issues. Instead, think of subtle, consistent activity as a steady engine that keeps the lymph fluid from pooling. One evidence-based insight is that low-intensity exercises like walking, water aerobics, or simple chair exercises can significantly improve lymphatic flow in older adults. If you're someone with mobility challenges, you can adapt. For instance, if you use a walker, you can do slow, supported laps around your living room. If you spend most of your day in a wheelchair, you can engage in seated leg lifts, ankle pumps, and even gentle arm movements that help stimulate overall circulation. The key is consistency. Little bursts of movement spread throughout the day often work better than a single block of exercise in the morning, followed by hours of sitting. Physically, regular gentle movement helps reduce that uncomfortable tightness around your ankles and can improve your balance by strengthening supporting muscles. Emotionally, making these small efforts nurtures a sense of protection for your future mobility. Every time you get up for a stretch or a short stroll, you're essentially telling yourself, I value my independence enough to stay active, even in little ways. That sense of investment in your well-being can be profoundly reassuring, like a promise you make to yourself that aging doesn't have to mean giving up on comfort or the activities you love. If you're ready to give this a try, consider starting small. Set a timer for every 45 minutes or so while watching TV or doing a hobby. When the timer goes off, do a round of ankle rolls and toe taps. If you're able, stand up and take a few steps around the house or yard. Notice how your legs feel at the end of the day when you integrate these micro breaks. Don't be surprised if the swelling begins to diminish and you end up sleeping more soundly too. This is the power of movement. It protects you from fluid buildup and helps you maintain a healthier, more secure sense of your own physical abilities. Quick check-in. Does this resonate with you? Have you fallen into the less movement is better trap at some point? If so, no worries, it happens to many of us. The important thing is recognizing that there's another path. Even if you've never been an exercise enthusiast, gentle activity can be tailored to your comfort level. Think of it not as working out, but as helping your body help itself. You deserve that sense of security, knowing you're doing something proactive to protect your well-being. Now let's address another factor that can influence lymphatic health: what you eat and drink each day. We're often told to cut back on salt to reduce swelling. While excessive sodium intake can indeed contribute to fluid retention, focusing solely on salt can overshadow other critical nutritional factors. One misconception is that a low-salt diet automatically solves the issue of ankle swelling. In reality, a balanced diet with certain nutrient-rich foods can do far more to support proper fluid balance than just slashing your salt shaker usage. Consider Rosa, 73, who diligently cut out nearly all salt from her meals in the hopes of reducing her persistent leg swelling. She ended up with bland meals that left her feeling unsatisfied, and her ankles still ballooned by late afternoon. When her daughter, a nutrition enthusiast, suggested adding potassium-rich foods like bananas, avocado slices, and spinach, Rosa was skeptical, but within weeks she noticed a difference. Her fluid retention eased, and ironically, she enjoyed her meals more because she discovered new seasonings and flavorful whole foods. Why did this work? Foods that are high in potassium, magnesium, and certain antioxidants can help balance the body's electrolytes, supporting better fluid regulation. Potassium, for instance, helps counteract some of the effects of sodium, reducing fluid buildup. Meanwhile, hydrating foods like cucumbers, watermelon, and citrus fruits contribute additional water that can keep your body's fluid levels moving rather than stagnating. When your body has the right nutrients, your lymphatic system can do its job more efficiently, carrying away waste and preventing excessive pooling in the lower extremities. Beyond that, certain natural herbs and spices, such as ginger and turmeric, are thought to have anti-inflammatory properties. While more research is needed, many seniors report feeling less puffiness when they include these in their diet. You might add a bit of fresh ginger to your tea or sprinkle turmeric on your roasted vegetables. Again, it's about making simple, enjoyable changes rather than feeling like you're punishing yourself with restrictive meals. Physically, these dietary adjustments can help you notice a real difference in how your feet and ankles look and feel by nighttime. Emotionally, nourishing your body in this way can reinforce a sense of guardianship over your health. Instead of thinking, I have to give up tasty food to reduce swelling, it becomes, I get to explore new flavors that also help my ankles feel better. That's a protective mindset, one that secures not just your physical comfort, but your emotional joy and satisfaction at mealtime. If you're not sure where to begin, try making a list of foods you already like that are high in potassium and magnesium, such as spinach, beans, bananas, nuts, seeds, or oranges. Add one new nutrient-rich food to your diet each week. If you're concerned about possible medication interactions, check with your healthcare provider or a registered dietitian. Eating to support lymphatic health doesn't mean overhauling your entire pantry overnight. It's more about steady, small changes that accumulate into major benefits over time. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Little by little, these gentle shifts, releasing old beliefs about aging, integrating more movement, and focusing on foods that support fluid balance, can shield your body from the discomfort and worry that often accompany swollen ankles. By treating your meals not as a strict regimen, but as a nurturing opportunity, you're giving your lymphatic system another layer of support. Let's transition to something you can do right at home for faster relief. Simple routines like leg elevation, gentle massage, or warm compresses that encourage better drainage. One common misconception is that you have to schedule a professional massage or buy expensive equipment to see results. While a professional lymphatic drainage session can be beneficial, many seniors find they can achieve noticeable improvements through easy, do-it-yourself methods that fit seamlessly into their daily schedule. George, 77, had long assumed that the moment his ankles started swelling, he'd just endure it until morning, hoping a good night's sleep would help. But that approach often left him lying awake, feeling the tightness and heaviness in his legs. After reading about self-massage techniques, he decided to give it a shot. Every evening before bed, George would elevate his legs on a couple of pillows for about 15 minutes. Then he'd apply a gentle, circular rubbing motion around his ankles and calves, working upward. Within a week, he noticed he was sleeping better because that tightness dissipated and the swelling reduced significantly. Why does this help? Elevation allows gravity to do some of the work, channeling fluid away from your feet and ankles. Gentle massage further assists the lymphatic vessels in moving the fluid upward. Some also find that alternating warm and cool compresses can stimulate circulation, though it's important to ensure your skin can safely tolerate the temperature changes. These techniques might sound simple, but when done consistently, they can be quite powerful in encouraging lymph fluid to keep moving. You don't need to be a trained masseuse. Lymphatic self-massage is often described as light, gentle strokes rather than the deep pressure we associate with standard massage. Start near the area closest to your torso and work outward, always in a direction that promotes fluid movement toward the body's core. If you're not sure, you can find plenty of free demonstrations from certified therapists online that show how to adapt these techniques for older adults. The physical benefits include immediate relief from that annoying, dragging sensation in your legs. Emotionally, taking these steps can help you feel secure in your ability to manage swelling on your own terms. There's a certain peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a toolkit to rely on whenever you feel those first hints of puffiness. It's akin to learning a self-soothing strategy, like having a warm cup of tea when you're stressed, but for your lymphatic system. It reaffirms that you're not powerless and that even simple measures can support your health as you age. If you'd like to try this tonight, see if you can dedicate 15 minutes before bedtime to propping your feet up. While you're resting with your legs elevated, maybe listen to some relaxing music or do some slow, deep breathing to further calm the body. Then try a gentle massage from your ankles up toward your knees. Note how you feel right afterward and also the next morning. The results often encourage people to make this a permanent part of their nightly wind-down routine, creating a sense of consistency and protection against further discomfort. By now, we've covered a few strategies: challenging old beliefs, encouraging movement, adjusting your diet, and practicing simple self-care methods like elevation and gentle massage. Let's pause for a moment. Has anything so far sparked a desire to try something new? Are you feeling a bit more optimistic about the possibility of reducing ankle swelling? Sometimes even a glimmer of hope can inspire a positive change that transforms your daily life. Finally, let's look at a crucial but often overlooked element in addressing hidden lymphatic blockages: the emotional and protective aspect of caring for your body. It's tempting to view swelling or discomfort solely as a physical issue. But your mindset, how secure or insecure you feel about your health, can profoundly influence whether you take action or stay in a cycle of neglect. Dorothy, 80, spent years ignoring her ankle swelling. Deep down, she felt that confronting it would force her to acknowledge she was getting older and more vulnerable. But each day, when she felt the pressure building around her ankles, anxiety would creep in. She worried about stability, worried about taking a fall, worried about what her neighbors would think if they saw her hobbling to get the mail. By leaving her fear unaddressed, she ended up feeling less protected, more fragile. Eventually, Dorothy decided that burying her head in the sand wasn't worth the daily stress. She started with a simple promise to herself: elevate her legs each evening and practice a few minutes of gentle massage. That small commitment helped her feel more in control. Over time, the swelling decreased, but more importantly, Dorothy felt a renewed sense of emotional security. She no longer tiptoed around her own fear. She faced it by taking action. Addressing emotional barriers is as vital as any exercise or nutritional advice. Many seniors have hidden worries about their bodies breaking down, about losing independence, or about burdening family members. By giving yourself permission to focus on lymphatic health, you're effectively saying, "I'm worth protecting, and I have the power to improve my situation." That mental shift can ripple into other areas of your life, prompting you to stay active, to try new hobbies, or to engage more with your community because you feel a greater sense of confidence. Remember that caring for yourself doesn't mean dismissing medical advice or going it alone. Involving your healthcare team is key, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. The idea is to blend informed professional guidance with self-empowering strategies that keep you engaged in your own wellness. The physical outcomes of better lymphatic health, less swelling, improved comfort, potentially more stable mobility, are intertwined with emotional well-being. Reducing pain or puffiness around your ankles makes it easier to socialize, walk without worry, and maintain the lifestyle you cherish. So, I encourage you to see your daily choices, like whether you do those ankle circles while waiting for your tea to brew, or remember to add more colorful fruits and vegetables to your plate, as small acts of self-protection. In doing so, you guard not just your ankles but your sense of independence and peace of mind. This approach is holistic, acknowledging that your body and your emotions work hand in hand to keep you feeling safe and vibrant. Tuantuna. If you've stuck with me this far, you've learned about 5 essential strategies for addressing that end-of-day ankle swelling. Challenging the assumption that swelling is inevitable, moving more frequently in gentle ways, enriching your diet with nutrient-dense foods, practicing simple self-care techniques like elevation and massage, and nurturing a mindset of emotional security around your own health. Each point addresses a different aspect of the same issue: how to support your lymphatic system so fluid doesn't pool in your lower extremities. Even if only 1 or 2 of these ideas caught your attention, that's still a meaningful step toward a healthier, more secure lifestyle. The promise here isn't about eradicating all your concerns or guaranteeing you'll never experience puffiness again. These are complex issues, and everyone's body responds differently. But it is about creating a protective layer around your well-being, so you feel more confident managing everyday challenges. There is a sense of urgency in caring for your lymphatic system because fluid buildup can lead to complications like skin problems or, in severe cases, infection. But please understand that urgency doesn't mean panic. Instead, view it as a timely reminder that small actions done consistently can yield big results. Our bodies communicate with us through signals like swelling. If we tune in and address those signals early, we often prevent more significant health issues. That's a gentle nudge to take these steps now, rather than waiting until the situation becomes more uncomfortable or limiting. Picture how your life could change if your ankles didn't feel tight at the end of the day. Maybe you'd feel steadier climbing the stairs or more confident strolling through the grocery aisles without worrying about whether your shoes would pinch or your feet would ache. By integrating these tips into your routine, you can reclaim moments of everyday joy, like standing in your garden without discomfort or simply curling up in bed at night without that throbbing feeling in your feet. So, where do you go from here? One call to action is to pick at least one strategy and try it today. Maybe you'll do a quick set of ankle pumps before and after each meal, or perhaps you'll decide to elevate your legs and do a light self-massage as part of your bedtime routine. If you're feeling more ambitious, you could incorporate a short walk or gentle stretches into your morning schedule and prepare a potassium-rich snack to see if that helps reduce puffiness by evening. A second call to action is to share these insights with someone else in your life. Maybe your spouse, a friend, or a neighbor also experiences swollen ankles. Talk about what you've learned. Sometimes partnering with another person keeps you both motivated. You can exchange recipes, remind each other to get up and move, and celebrate your progress together. Lastly, if you feel uncertain about how these suggestions fit into your health picture, especially if you're on medications or have underlying conditions, make a note to discuss this with your healthcare provider. Bringing awareness to your lymphatic system is an important piece of the puzzle, and many practitioners appreciate patients who take proactive steps to maintain wellness. It shows you're invested in your health, and that can lead to better, more personalized advice. Take a moment now to envision yourself a few weeks or months down the line, experiencing less evening ankle swelling and feeling a renewed sense of confidence each day. Perhaps you're able to keep up with grandchildren or resume a hobby you set aside. Whatever your personal goal, allow yourself the satisfaction of picturing success. It's not just about vanity or comfort, it's about safeguarding your independence and happiness. You have the wisdom and life experience that come from decades of living. Use it to make informed decisions about your body. By taking these small, mindful steps, you're not just managing a symptom, you're actively nurturing a better quality of life. That is what true holistic wellness looks like. Respecting the signals your body sends, responding with compassion and knowledge, and embracing the security that comes from knowing you're taking care of yourself. Here's to you and your continued journey toward healthier, more comfortable days.